Hey, it's Christina. I'm going to do our virtual book club video for the book Fail Until You Don't, Fight, Grind, Repeat by Bobby Bones. So this is week one. If you are reading along with me, you should be close to finishing up the introduction because that's what we're reading this week. And I picked only reading the introduction this week because it's a good 40 pages or so long, and that's quite a bit to read for lots of busy folks. So I really liked the introduction, and honestly, the introduction made me want to continue reading this book. My favorite part about the introduction, and probably my favorite part about the book, when I get to the end, I have a feeling, is that this sounds exactly like Bobby Bones. I feel like he's talking to me as I read these pages. When I listen to him on his radio show, I adore him. I think he is amazing. I think he's so real and authentic, and he's just an all-around quirky, good dude. And I really like that about him. So, like I said, it made me want to read this book. And I'm finding out, and I'm starting to read more about how important storytelling is when it comes to connecting with people and helping others, because that's essentially what I like to do, is help others. So I like that he uses stories throughout, his introduction, and I have a feeling that's going to happen throughout the book too. And he alludes to it in the introduction. So, he mentions that he had a dysfunctional upbringing, and a lot of us do have that in our background. And when he was talking about that, he mentioned you have to be your own champion. And I think that is so important to remember that, because nobody's going to fight for you as hard as you're going to fight for yourself. So you have to be your own champion. He says everything in life is a moving target. I feel like that almost on a daily basis. I feel like I'm getting close to the finish line, and I just don't get there. It gets moved on me again, and it's really frustrating. So I like those things that he was talking about. He also talked about folks that, people that are famous that have failed. And in that part, he says the people who make it are the ones who don't quit. They are borderline crazy about what they are trying to achieve. So I thought that was a really interesting way of looking at that. He talks about applying for like 30 or something radio jobs and then not even really hearing anything back, which I can completely relate to right now. And he says that's a whole lot of freaking rejection. And he says, want to feel like you really suck? Send a full package, your resume, tapes, and the full thing, and hear nothing back. That is how I feel. And matter of fact, I just wrote, I'm finishing up an article to post about that on LinkedIn about rejection and how to deal with it. I really like that he started talking about resilience skills, and he mentioned people like Carol Dweck, who I know about her research on the growth mindset. And he also talked about how, where was it at? He talked about trying to connect with his dad, and he talked about how his dad was just as flawed and vulnerable of a person as he was. And I think that's important. I think that's why I really connected with Brene Brown, because she talks about vulnerability. She researches it. And that right there, really, reading her research and her books really kind of connected me to the world and helped me get some perspective on things and give me the courage to do some things that I never thought I would have the courage to do, like videotaping myself. So that was in there. And then the last thing that I underlined, which I really, really liked when he said this, was it's okay to suck, just don't give up. So I thought that was really cool. If you haven't got the book yet and you want to read along with me on this virtual book club journey, it's Fail Until You Don't, Fight, Grind, Repeat by Bobby Bones. I will put a link. If you already have your book and you've started reading it, or you've already read it and you want to share what you thought about the introduction or the whole book itself, you can put it in the comments on any of the social media platforms that you found this on, and come grow with me and read this book.